In the vast expanse of the galaxy, countless species coexisted, each with their own unique abilities and characteristics. Among them were the Zorgons, a race of tall, slender beings with blue skin and large, almond-shaped eyes. They were known for their advanced technology and their ability to regenerate lost limbs. The Aiacs, on the other hand, were a stout, reptilian species with scales that changed color based on their emotions. They were renowned for their incredible strength and durability. But there was one species that baffled and terrified all others. Humans. Captain Zorax of the Zorgon fleet had heard the stories, but he never believed them until he witnessed it for himself. His crew had been tasked with observing a human colony on a remote planet, gathering intelligence on their behavior and capabilities. As they monitored the colony from orbit, they noticed a group of humans venturing out into the wilderness. Among them was a young man named Jack, who seemed to be the leader of the expedition. Zorax watched in fascination as the humans navigated the treacherous terrain, their fragile bodies seemingly ill-equipped for the harsh environment. Suddenly, disaster struck. Jack lost his footing and tumbled down a steep cliff, his body bouncing off jagged rocks before coming to a stop at the bottom. Zorax and his crew watched in horror, certain that the human couldn't have survived such a fall. But then, to their amazement, Jack stirred. He slowly sat up, wincing in pain as he assessed his injuries. His right arm was bent at an unnatural angle, and deep gashes covered his body, oozing bright red blood. Zorax turned to his medical officer, Xyler, in disbelief. How is this possible? Those injuries should have been fatal. Xyler shook his head, equally perplexed. I don't understand it, Captain. By all accounts, he should be dead. They watched as Jack's companions rushed to his aid, helping him to his feet and supporting his weight as they made their way back to the colony. Zorax ordered his crew to continue monitoring the situation, eager to see how the humans would handle such a severe injury. Hours turned into days, and Zorax was astounded by what he saw. Jack's broken arm was set and immobilized, and his wounds were cleaned and bandaged. But what happened next defied all logic. Each night, as Jack slept, his body seemed to heal at an impossible rate. The gashes closed, the bruises faded, and the swelling in his arm subsided. Within a week, he was back on his feet, moving around the colony as if nothing had happened. Zorax couldn't believe his eyes. He had witnessed the Zorgons regenerate lost limbs, but never had he seen a species recover from such grievous injuries so quickly. He knew he had to report his findings to the Galactic Council. As he prepared his report, Zorax received an urgent message from the Council. A Shellac ship had been attacked by an unknown assailant, and they needed the Zorgons' help in identifying the culprit. Zorax and his crew rushed to the scene, where they found the Aiac ship adrift in space, its hull riddled with blast marks. They boarded the vessel, expecting to find the crew dead or dying. Instead, they found a group of battered but very much alive Aiacs, their scales flashing a deep, angry red. Among them was their captain, a grizzled veteran named Zorax. What happened here? Zorax asked, his eyes wide with disbelief. Zorax bared his teeth in a snarl. It was the humans. They attacked us without provocation. Zorax shook his head. That's impossible. The humans don't have the technology to launch an attack like this. Zorax's scales flashed an even deeper red. You don't understand. They didn't use technology. They used their bodies. He went on to explain how a group of humans had boarded their ship, armed with nothing but their bare hands and a few primitive weapons. The Aiacs had fought back, but the humans seemed to shrug off even the most devastating injuries. I saw one of them take a blast to the chest, Zorax said, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and awe. He should have been dead before he hit the ground, but he just kept coming. It was like something out of a nightmare. Zorax listened in stunned silence as Zorax recounted the battle, describing how the humans had fought with a ferocity and resilience that defied all reason. In the end, the Aiacs had been forced to retreat, leaving their ship behind. As they returned to the Zorgon fleet, Zorax knew that he had to take action. He couldn't allow the humans to continue unchecked, not with their terrifying ability to recover from seemingly fatal injuries. He called an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council, where he presented his findings and urged them to take immediate action. The council was divided, with some members arguing for diplomacy and others calling for a preemptive strike against the human colonies. In the end, they decided to send an envoy to the humans, hoping to establish a dialogue and learn more about their capabilities. Zorax volunteered to lead the mission, knowing that he was the only one who had seen the humans' resilience firsthand. As they approached the human colony, Zorax couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. He had faced many dangers in his long career, but nothing had prepared him for this. They landed their ship on the outskirts of the colony and were greeted by a group of humans, led by none other than Jack himself. Zorax was struck by how young and unassuming he looked, nothing like the unstoppable force he had witnessed on the Aiac ship. "Welcome to our colony," Jack said, extending his hand in a gesture of friendship. "We've been expecting you." Zorax hesitated for a moment before reaching out to shake Jack's hand, half expecting to feel the crushing strength that had defeated the Aiacs. Instead, he was surprised to find that Jack's grip was firm but gentle, a far cry from the brutal force he had imagined. As they walked through the colony, Zorax couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of the human body. He saw people going about their daily lives, seemingly unaffected by the injuries and ailments that would have been debilitating or even fatal to other species. He spoke with Jack at length, trying to understand the secret behind their incredible healing abilities. Jack explained that it was a combination of factors, from their unique physiology to their indomitable spirit. "We're survivors," he said, a glint of pride in his eye. "No matter what the universe throws at us, we find a way to keep going." Zorax left the colony with a newfound respect for the human race, but also with a sense of unease. He knew that the Galactic Council would be eager to harness the humans' abilities for their own purposes, and he feared what might happen if they pushed too hard. In the weeks that followed, Zorax watched as the Council sent more and more envoys to the human colonies, each one returning with tales of their incredible resilience and adaptability. Some even spoke of humans who had survived injuries that would have been instantly fatal to any other species, their bodies healing at an impossible rate. As the Council debated what to do with this new knowledge, Zorax couldn't shake the feeling that they were playing with fire. He had seen firsthand the unstoppable force that was the human race, and he knew that they would stop at nothing to protect their own. In the end, the Council decided to leave the humans alone, recognizing that they were a force to be reckoned with. Zorax returned to his ship, his mind still reeling from all that he had seen and learned. As he looked out at the stars, he couldn't help but wonder what the future held for the human race. Would they use their incredible abilities for good, or would they become a threat to the rest of the galaxy? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: the humans were a species unlike any other, and they would stop at nothing to survive and thrive in the face of even the most impossible odds.